my feel-good breakfast show.
A very good morning and welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show Expresso on SABC3. Now, drunk driving is the biggest cause of accidents on South African roads, but a new bill introduced by the Department of Transport aims to change all of that by reducing the blood alcohol limit to 0 when driving a car. Now, this means that you won't be allowed a drop of alcohol before getting behind the wheel of a car. Now, with us in studio to chat about it is Sipesihle Dube, the spokesperson for the Western Cape MEC of Transport and Public Works. Good to have you back in studio.
Thank you.
And indeed, we are talking about a very important issue where currently the law allows for 0.05 grams of alcohol per 100 mils of blood. But it's about to change, possibly, with this new bill. What does it all entail?
Yeah, possibly. As you said, the current law is 0.05 grams per 100 mils for normal drivers and then 0.02 for professional drivers. The new proposal suggests that if you have any alcohol, so the law basically reads, if you're behind the wheel of a car, whether you're driving or just behind it while the engine is on, you cannot have any alcohol in you. So the implications of that are quite serious. And as the Western Cape Department of Transport and Public Works, we will be also submitting comments on this bill. It's a very interesting turn of events in this ongoing fight against drunk driving.
So we're talking practically, if you were out with friends having dinner and you literally had one sip of wine and you got behind the wheel of your car, you could potentially be arrested. Yes,
from what the law suggests, yes, you could definitely potentially be arrested. But what's important to note is that with these new regulations, it's very important to have legislative reform when the time is appropriate, but also to benchmark ourselves against international best practice. We do know that various leaders in road safety have varying degrees of laws pertaining to drunk driving. We have Australia, which is one of the leading countries in road safety, and they have 0.05, which is the current situation here. But the success there in curbing drunk driving is a holistic approach with appropriate laws, meets the requisite level of enforcement and effective policing and prosecution, which leads to consequences which encourage people, or rather discourage people, to participate in antisocial behavior and deters them from drinking at all.
So it is a whole process.
Yeah, it is a whole process. And those successful have been involved thoroughly in that process.
Well, to weigh in on the matter right now, we have Caro Smith, who's the director of South Africans Against Drunk Driving, joining us on the line. Thank you very much for taking our call. Caro, just to get a bit of your opinion on this, do you think that this new bill, were to be signed into law, would effectively reduce drunk driving in South Africa?
I think it would reduce it dramatically, because in South Africa there's a lot of approximation and misunderstanding about alcohol. People talk about drinks and they say, I can have 2 drinks and be under the legal limit. Now, what is a drink? A drink could be a can of beer, or it could be a quart of beer. And on 1 quart of beer, 750 mils, you're over the legal limit.
Yes.
On 1 cocktail, you're over the legal limit. So this is very simple. It says 0 alcohol, and so there can be absolutely no misinterpretation of the law.
And I think, well, some groups have, of course, also expressed their concern that if this bill were to be signed into law, it could unintentionally criminalize some innocent people out there. I mean, could you elaborate a little bit on this?
Yes, I don't think it will. I did a little calculation. Vicks Medi-Night, if you take 30 mils of Vicks Medi-Night, which as you take that, I mean, you can hardly walk, that will come to common naught 1 grams in your body. And so that's very little. People aren't going to get criminalized on common naught 1. It's going to be criminalized from higher than that. But on all the medicine bottles, it says very, very clearly, do not drive while you are using this medication. And in terms of the small amount of ketones that we produce, and if we've eaten fruit and all that sort of thing, it's so low that I don't think so. So certainly I think this will bring down our death and injury rate dramatically. And remember, we're sitting on about 20,000 deaths and 150,000 injuries, and 65% of that is alcohol. So we have absolute road carnage. So we have to change our laws for an unsophisticated country.
Caro, thank you very much for your opinions there. Of course, at the end of the day, it's all about saving lives. That's what we're trying to do here. And tell me this, when might this bill actually be signed into law?
Well, the comment period is up until the 27th of February, and then thereafter it'll follow a necessary national parliamentary process. And as I said, we as a Department of Transport Public Works will be submitting comments in that time. But what's important, I agree with Cara, what's important is to change behaviour.
Yeah.
And the only way that you can do that, like laws and stuff go a long way to do that, but the only way to change behaviour is to really have consequences that bite and to deter people from participating in such antisocial behaviour.
And this might very well be the first step towards that. Thank you very much, and also to Cara for taking our call. Now, of course, this is a matter of national importance, and if you'd like to weigh in on the matter, go to www.gov.za if you're interested in the new draft National Road Traffic Amendment Bill that can be found over there. And also, we're asking you on Facebook, what do you think of this law? Could it help in lowering, of course, drunk driving and the accidents related to that? Get to us on Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. Right now, let's catch up with the early morning headlines.